Hi, welcome to the New Yorker Cartoon Caption Contest Podcast. I am Ben Coca with these Beth Lawler, Paul Mesha, and Nicole Krolovicius. And on part 2, we have an interview with New Yorker cartoonist guy Richards Smit. Interesting guy, fun guy, easy to talk to. So stay tuned for that in part 2. In the meantime, here we're going to jump into the winner of contest 999. The couple sitting in a room looking at an elephant-shaped hole in the wall. And the winner was obviously, I think it's time we address the room itself. Within 2 seconds of seeing the cartoon, I knew that was going to be the winning caption, which is why I hated this cartoon. I hate the caption. Actually, the caption's good for what it is, but I hated this cartoon. I don't like cartoons when the minute I look at them, I can tell you what the winner's going to be. And if any listeners want to go back to when this cartoon first showed, we all knew, obviously, an elephant in the room caption was going to win. I don't find these to be fun at all. I dislike them tremendously. But that's not everyone. Larry really likes these. He's said many times he likes knowing what the caption's going to be and trying to be the one to write it best. I don't agree, but that's his take. But I think it's time we address the room itself is the exact caption I knew was going to win.
Yeah, I think that definitely is the right winner also.
It is a good, I mean, not to take Larry's side, but it is a good elephant in the room caption, though, isn't it? This particular caption that won.
Yeah, it works perfectly. It works perfectly.
It's going beyond the elephant in the room, which is good. Somebody did that.
Yeah. And this cartoon, like if I saw this cartoon, like if Tom Toro had published this cartoon, it wasn't a contest, and he did a caption that was similar to that, I would like it. I think we just don't like it because, like you said, it's
right. I have no problem with the obvious caption. I have no problem with elephants in cartoons, with dogs in cartoons. I don't like them for caption contests because I know the winner, and now you're just trying to word it better than everyone else.
Right.
People like that. I don't have to be right. I just hate these cartoons.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. I get where you're coming from with that. But I think this is the rightful winner. I think the order is exactly right. The door, he remembers everything but the door. Definitely a good second place caption. And the laser pointer one just doesn't make any sense to me at all. There's not a thing that elephants are afraid of laser pointers. So
yeah, it's the worst, but I voted for it because it's the only one that's original. The other two, I only credit originality. I don't like any of these tropes. So that's one. But I would, if I'm being honest, it's the worst of the three. But
it's just not a thing. It's not a thing. It's silly.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like one of those. I agree with you, Beth, because I guess it's like the cat, because cats they chase the laser, right? And so, and of course we hate the cat cartoons as well. But this one did strike me as a little too explainy. Like I don't love those captions that just try to come up with some weird explanation for the weird scene that are so out there that it's like, what's the point of that? What is the point of this?
Right.
So I agree. I think that one is it's not terrible, but it's a rightful third place one. But it is someone from Canada, so go Canada.
Go Canada. Yay. I'm on Team Canada.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan for that reason alone.
Well, and I love the drawing. I love the drawing in this one. It's so good. Like that couple sitting there is like perfect.
Yeah. The wallpaper and everything.
With her mug.
Just nice older middle-aged couple sitting there very politely. And
it's great. It's great.
I'll tell you what my caption was for this, but I'll wait until the next cartoon to do that.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Let's go to that. That is contest 1001. It's the snails sitting around a campfire telling ghost stories. And our finalists are You Can Hide, But You Can't Run. The Trail Led Me to a Fork in the Road, a tiny fork. And It's Scarier If I Tell It in French. I don't dislike these captions, but this was another cartoon I did not like because I could have told you, and I did tell you when it's out, what the finalists were going to do. So I just don't like these cartoons.
You're just too smart, Ben.
Okay, I'm going to say I I love the drawing. I absolutely love this drawing. The eyeballs on the snail.
Yeah.
It's telling
Yeah.
the story are hilarious. So that is
Yes.
great. Isabella Klein and Brandon Lonacek. Well, Isabella Klein is tangentially in my Facebook group. Her husband is Wayne Klein in the Facebook group. And Brandon Lonacek is in the Facebook group. So I saw both of these captions before they're finalists, and they jumped out at me as those are good. Those are good captions. I think both of them. The trail led me to a fork in the road, and then the pause, a tiny fork. That's good for a scary story being told by a snail. I think the comedic timing in it is perfect, and it's really, really good. And it's scarier if I tell it in French. That's the obvious caption for the escargot, but
Okay.
it's a good, really good take on it. And actually, I also really like the first one too. As far as a scary story for a snail, you can hide, but you can't run. If flipping the verbiage of you can run, but
Yeah.
you can't hide, I think that's pretty smart. So I think all three of these are good, and I'm really having a hard time deciding which one to vote for. But I'm probably going to vote for the tiny fork.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm going for. Yeah, the fork.
Unfortunately for the Facebook group, you can hide, but you can't run is going to win. I actually like the tiny fork one better, but he's not going to win. You can hide, but you can't run is going to be the crowd pleaser. That's the one that's going to win. I have very, very high confidence that's going to win.
Yeah, because it's a common saying. It's flipped around. It's funny, and it works with the drawing, and it's compact. It's there's no superfluous words in it. It's it's very well written. I think you're right. I think that one will be the winner.
And here's where I'm going to jump in with my caption for that previous contest.
Okay.
He can run, but he can't hide.
Oh God.
That was what you submitted for the elephant
2 weeks too soon. 2 weeks too soon.
Hilarious.
You should just submit it every week.
Yes.
And then just see what happens.
Like your lottery numbers.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first starting to play the contest, I feel like I read an article. I was doing all the research about how to win and people who's submitting. And there was an article I read somewhere. I can't find it for the life of me, but it was something about a good universal caption is, "That's it. I want the divorce." So I thought that's a great, somebody should submit that each and every week for everything. Like the elephant one, the snail, you name it. And someday it's gonna win.
It would hit. It would hit eventually. It's so funny.
I agree with everything that you guys just said, though. I actually think all three of these are good captions. Like I don't really find too much fault with any of them. I think the first one's going to win. I think the first one probably is the rightful winner in a way because it is that short, sweet, twisted word. It works really well. It's got that clever factor. It's funny. It has an exclamation point in the right spot. A rare time that I like it. But I also really, really like Tiny Fork because I think the phrase tiny fork is hilarious. And it's really, really good. And I also think that Brandon, who is an excellent, frequent New Yorker finalist and winner, had the best take on the French angle, which is the obvious angle, but this is the best wording of it. It is scarier if I tell it in French. That's an excellent way of wording that joke. So I think these are three great captions, honestly.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah. And I feel bad for the finalists because there is no real runaway winner, really. I mean, it's really tough competition. I do agree that I think the first one is going to win, but I don't think it's a complete runaway. I think that it's really tough competition because these are actually three really good captions.
I think it
finally will three really good captions.
Yeah, these are all good.
I don't think that's finally. I think lately the New York has been doing a very good job. It's been. I cannot remember the last time I said these are three bad finalists. I think it's been 8 months before I've said. I think the New York has been doing a tremendous job, actually.
So, I think I have higher standards, so I've been a little bit more critical.
I'm sure if we go back, let the record show that I've been grumpy a number of times recently.
I definitely have. I definitely don't agree that they've been running away with it lately. But
if we go back and look, I think you'll say you're wrong. You're right. These are all good. I would do it, but unfortunately, there's no site that we can see past winners.
I know.
They have been doing a good job.
Yeah.
Can we discuss that these 3 finalists are all from California?
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
You're right. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
A clean sweep.
Way to go, California.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you how my brain works here. This is kind of off topic, but this is how my brain works. So everybody buckle in. This gets scary. So in that last one, it's scarier if you tell it in French. And I read that as going, the French Connection. And I thought, oh, French Connection, that was a good movie. A lot of car chases that I liked. And I thought, well, what if snails were in this movie? And instead of car chases, they had the snails doing these chases. And I thought, well, that would be a good 10-hour movie. That's it. That's where my brain goes when I read these.
You may be able to get a cartoon out of that, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I know that's where my brain's at. As I read these, like, okay, what can I change in here to extend this joke? And it's kind of like, oh man, why do I do that to myself?
No, this is good. This is fertile territory for ideas. A springboard.
Yeah. So
I just think Lin Sue did a great job on that drawing too. The way the fire is glowing, it's like
lights up everything.
Did a really, really good job. Really amazing. Love it.
And snails are always fun. Snails are fun.
And remember, we had the interview where we talked about the fact that the editors at the New Yorker like snails.
Yes,
right?
That's right. Yes.
So hint to cartoonists, if you're submitting to the magazine and you haven't been successful yet, try a snail cartoon. It might be just the thing.
Yeah. Forget my advice later in the show. Throw a snail into the cartoon.
All right, how about we talk this week? Contest 1003. We have a popsicle at a dinner party, a very formal dinner party, and another couple is talking about the popsicle. I found this to be an easy cartoon to generate captions. Did anyone look and say, wow, I can't come up with anything? I suspect not.
No. I immediately came up with 500,000 captions for this one, and they were like all wordplay, except for one that I probably should have submitted instead of the one I submitted. But yeah, this is very easy. Although hard because it's like, like everybody's going to go for the same jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be hard because there's going to be an unusually high number of captions because every single human being can come up with a caption for this. So there will be many, many thousands of captions submitted for this. So it'll just be hard to break through all that clutter.
Can I query something you said, Vin, when you described the cartoon? Because it's something that in looking at it, I've been struggling with, which is this melting popsicle in the conversation with a couple or being talked about? And so I think you said that they're talking about the popsicle, and maybe that's true, but the popsicle looks pretty close to them. And so then it made me wonder whether they're all in a conversation rather than the man commenting to the woman about the popsicle, or whether that even matters.
When we had a discussion with Larry through emails earlier today, I described what I'm seeing here. And I feel like the man and the woman were in a conversation, and the popsicle came along and stood there for like a couple minutes. And it's kind of like they felt like they had to include this popsicle into their conversation. So the man is saying something to the woman as an aside before he brings the popsicle into the conversation.
Yeah, to me, it looks like the popsicle's just walking by, and the man and the women are in a conversation, and the popsicle's just like strolling past at the cocktail party. Like it doesn't look to me. He's not facing them.
Right.
He's turned like he's like walking past them. There's nothing in that drawing that leads me to believe that he's part of their conversation.
Couple of details.
Definitely the subject of this the conversation.
Well, he's definitely the subject. A couple of details is the guy is turned towards the popsicle, no longer turned towards the woman. And the popsicle, he's got a couple puddles underneath him. He's been standing there for a little bit. So he's, there's, something going on there. And I want to know, how does the popsicle walk? Does he kind of bounce like a pogo stick, or does he slide, or what happens? What's going on here?
Bounces, Paul.
This is obviously a pogo stick situation.
Popsicles bounce.
I mean, really. For sure. I do think, though, that if the man was whispering something or saying something under his breath to the woman beside, wouldn't his head be tilted a little bit closer to her, as though it was more conspiratorial? Listen, I wish the popsicle and the couple had some distance between them, because then it would be clearly them. They're talking about this popsicle, but now the placement of the popsicle is throwing me off.
I'm going with, he's saying something as an aside to the woman about the popsicle. That's my shtick, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And the only reason I think it matters is because it may not matter at all, but one of the reasons it might matter is how you craft your caption, or whether you craft the caption in relation to the popsicle as like a third entity, like him, it's him, as though they're talking about him, or whether they're saying something, the man saying something to the woman that would include the popsicle in the conversation. And so I think it can affect the way you draft your caption. And that's why it bothers me. I feel otherwise I wouldn't care. It might be one of those details I can let go, but this seems to matter.
Well, yeah, it does matter, because if you're saying, if he's calling the popsicle you instead of he, it makes a difference. Exactly. And I think it should be a he, not a you.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No,
back to your regular schedule programming.
I think I kind of dealt with that in my very first caption that I came up with, and I thought it was such an obvious caption, and it kind of depends on the way you say it. It covers both situations. Oh, fudge.
Okay. Oh.
Or, oh, fudge. So it kind of covers both of them.
Does. You're right.
Anyone submit?
I did.
Yeah, I did too. Would you submit? I know, but you can tell it.
I submitted. He fudged his way in here.
Fudge.
Or he fudged his way in, something like that. It's wordplay, obvious wordplay. Yeah. But I felt like, and I didn't know about Paul's "oh fudge" caption when I came up with it. So, I was kind of thinking that the popsicle being a fudgicle would be like the lesser common, the less common take on it. Because honestly, this popsicle doesn't really look like a popsicle to me. It looks like an ice cream bar. Yep. It doesn't look like a popsicle to me.
Fudgesicle, creamsicle.
Yeah. It looks like, and I was trying so hard to find a caption that was something like, "Oh God, what I do for a Klondike bar right now," or what would I do? Like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? If he only knew what I'd do for a Klondike bar, something like that. But I couldn't. It's such a funny concept that I couldn't make it work. So I ended up submitting the he fudged his way in, which I'm kind of having submitter's remorse about. And the other one I wish I submitted was just we were childhood friends.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's not really wordplay, and it explains why he's there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I like what you submitted, Beth. I think they're going to pick one or two, if not three, wordplay captions, I think, as finalists. That's what I think. At least two, if not three. Maybe they'll pick one joke if there's like, a good.
I had two more that I really liked that I should have also submitted. One was "he makes my head hurt."
Another good one.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Brain freeze.
It's like, he could totally be whispering that to the woman in the party, like, "Oh God, there's so and so." He makes.
I actually like that one better than the one you submitted.
Me too. I know. Yeah. I like it better too. I can't believe I didn't submit it. And then one that was pretty obscure, but it's probably not really obscure, but I thought it was good, was "all he ever talks about is having met Buddy Hackett."
I don't get that. Sorry, but I do not get that.
You don't remember the Buddy Hackett Jello pudding pop commercials or whatever they were, popsicle commercials. Buddy Hackett and Bill Cosby.
I remember Bill Cosby. I don't remember.
Yeah, but you
Buddy
can't do
Hackett.
Bill Cosby jokes now.
Yeah,
It's going to die on the limb.
You can't. So
You can't.
you have to go to Buddy Hackett. Buddy Hackett was like the face of
Oh man, I do not remember that.
the ice cream pops or popsicles or one of them, fudgicles or whatever. You can Google it. But he was like, it was, no, I know what it was. It was Tuscan pudding pops.
Oh, I'd never heard of that.
You never heard of Tuscan? Maybe it's a
No.
regional thing because they had a factory in New Jersey. It was Tuscan pudding pops was Buddy Hackett did the commercials for them. Vin, do you remember that?
I don't. I'm trying to back
older
up
than
here,
you.
but no, I don't.
I'm older than you
Or
though.
either.
So yeah, it had to be in the 70s, like early 70s. Buddy Hackett. Oh my God, everybody Google. Write in if you remember Buddy Hackett.
Like somebody back me
Somebody
up.
back me up.
Buddy Hackett, write in if you're listening to this.
Oh,
Buddy Hackett's dead.
yeah,
I
Buddy,
think.
he's long gone. Under the popsicle stand in the sky.
Buddy Hackett.
The estate of Buddy Hackett, please write in.
Any relative, distant relatives.
Yeah, no, it was definitely pudding pops.
Okay.
Buddy Hackett did the commercials for pudding pops.
Were they good?
Okay.
Were they tasty?
Yes, they were. They were. But anyway, this guy does not look like a popsicle to me. Popsicles have certain ridges. They're not shaped like that.
No.
Yeah.
So,
They're skinnier.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't melt like that. That totally looks like ice cream melting. It doesn't.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a fudge sickle. It's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why your caption works really well, Beth.
Yeah. He makes my head hurt would work better.
Yeah, that is good.
Damn
So,
it.
Speaking of things I've never heard of before, what was your caption, Ben?
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
I never submit early. I only submitted early just because this is so easy. I was going to come up with captions all weekend. It was going to just bother me. So I just wanted to be done with it because of how easy it is. So I submitted one that I really liked and it was original. And then I learned no one got it, which surprised me.
I got it. I totally got it.
I don't remember exactly the version I submitted, unfortunately, because I submitted it yesterday. But I think I submitted, or if not, something like this was he's got one great joke in him, which I was surprised to hear people didn't get. But at least back in my heyday, back in the 90s when I ate fudge sickles and popsicles, there was always a joke on the stick.
Yes.
But apparently no one's aware of that. So that might hurt me. But at least my guess is Emma and Rachel will 1,000% be well aware of that caption.
I think that must be a regional thing, having discussed this with Larry and Paul today. Nicole, you did not weigh in on that as far as I
No, I haven't
remember,
read
right?
the emails today.
Okay. Yeah, the sticks had a joke at the end. And then when you were done eating it, the remainder of the stick
Had the punch.
Right.
had the punchline.
Right.
Okay.
That
So-
sounds familiar. I think we might have had that too when I was
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
That feels familiar.
And Paul and Larry both said that they did not remember
No,
that. And
don't
that
remember
just
that.
like completely bowled me over. And then Paul also said that, I think it was you, not Larry, said that you didn't have Dixie cups that had jokes on them.
Well,
And that like really blew me away.
no, it's we did have them. I knew of them, but my family personally did not use Dixie cups. I mean, 6 kids with Dixie cups
Right.
with jokes would have lasted a day. That wasn't going to happen.
I'll tell you, the ice cream did taste way better eating the Dixie cups with the wooden spoon they gave.
Oh man, the
Oh
wooden
my God,
spoon.
remember
The wooden
those?
spoon was so
Remember
good
those?
with the
Yeah,
ice
Wooden
cream.
spoon.
Great.
But the wooden spoon was more for, well, they had the vanilla and chocolate ice cream
Yeah.
cup with the
Yeah,
wooden
those
spoon.
little
Yeah,
And they also had the Italian ices with
Yeah.
the wooden
right.
spoon.
little.
Those Italian ices.
Yeah, and you just had to like scrape it and scrape it and scrape it. Your tongue was all red or blue or whatever. Great.
Yeah, so I submitted largely just because of how easy I think this is. And if you don't submit early, you're just going to come up with 10 captions a day and it's going to drive you crazy.
Mhm.
So that's why I submitted very unusually early on a Monday.
My strategy is I'm going to forget about this for almost 2 weeks because skip week next week for the New Yorker. Don't worry about it for this weekend, and then worry about it next week at some point. let it percolate, marinate, whatever.
This one is gonna be really hard though, because you're right, Vin, in one sense, which is that if you don't submit early, you're going to be trying so hard to either find that one uncommon angle of wordplay that is really tough because there's so many different angles that you can go for, or that one joke that is not in any way relating to wordplay that kind of explains what's going on. And I feel like it's going to be one of those almost impossible tasks. I don't have really any ideas. The only thing I jotted down before I came on to talk with you guys was this one's so stupid. Paul, you're gonna groan. Prediction. It was something I was trying to anyway, I'll just say it. Because to me he does look like ice cream and not a popsicle. Didn't you come in with a coating?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something like that too, like his coat melted off or something like that. Like the chocolate just dripped, like melted off.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's really bad. And then the other wordplay thing I was talking about was something about losing your cool, or keeping your cool. But the popsicle or ice cream bar or whatever the heck he is, fudge school, looks really happy.
Yeah, he's pleasantly just being
Damn him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can he look mad? Because otherwise,
just happy to be there. Just happy to be there.
No, he looks like he doesn't have a care in the world.
No.
And I think to me, when I look at this image too, the thing that strikes me is the fact that he's melting.
Yeah.
And how rude that is. It's like all over the floor. Like that's
all over the floor.
Yeah, isn't that the thing? Like, what a rude like who does that?
You're right. That's a way to get into it.
Yeah.
When the owner sees this, he's gonna bite his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go to the kids' table.
Keep them away from the carpet.
Yeah, get off the carpet.
The dog will take care of that.
The leader in Instagram is always wordplay, and it's generally always terrible. But it's not bad for this one. The leader in Instagram is he should have skipped the housewarming.
That's actually good. That's actually good.
It's almost never that you see a good caption leading in Instagram. It's always a pun, generally a terrible one, but not bad.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Yeah. So it is quite formal for a housewarming. I would say that. That's the only detract from it.
That's true.
Yes, more like a wedding scene.
I almost thought it might have been an art gallery at first, but no, there's no little plaques underneath the paintings in the background.
And the chandelier, it looks like a
more formal ballroom.
Yeah, it's a formal affair.
Given the formal affair, one of my entries was I guess it's Venetian hour. If everyone knows what Venetian hour is.
Do not.
No, I do not.
An East Coast thing. That's the dessert hour.
Okay.
The Venetian table. The Venetian table is a table with all the desserts out on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just call it dessert table.
No, it's fancy in New York. It's the Venetian.
Okay. So
the caterers can just charge more if they call it a Venetian table.
There you go.
That's 1,000% what it is.
That's 100% markup at that point.
Yep.
So I came up with another half dozen here. This is going to get sticky. He's thinned out, but it was mostly water weight. That was for Ben.
Admit it.
He's really getting sloshed. I give him an hour before he's under the table. He can't hold his wine. His hands always melt off.
Oh, God.
Who puts wine in their ice? Yeah, that's definitely a clip-on. and with, look who has a stick up their ass.
Stick up their ass is actually already in the Facebook group.
Is it? Yeah, it's kind of figured it would be.
Yeah.
Most of my ideas were, given his smile, one of them was he's always in good humor. But I saw some variation of that.
Yeah, I liked that one.
Yeah. I think that's going to be several entries in that direction.
Yeah. There'll be many, many duplicates.
Yeah, I was also trying to come up with one about being taken away by the men in white coats because the ice cream men wear white coats.
I like that.
Yeah.
But it was like almost like you had to think about it too much. It was like too many steps.
Yeah.
So,
The connection was too big of a leap to make. Yeah.
I also think there's something, obviously, other angles are all about the time. Like the fact that he's melting means he's going to be, I guess, gone.
Yeah.
So, like leaving so soon.
Yeah, and you're right. The expression on the I'm just going to say frozen confectionery. Just
Yes.
at this point, frozen confectionery. It's just it's just so pleasant. He's just so
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to be there.
yeah.
Yeah. Who invited this guy?
Oh, and then one other idea I had was, if you like it so much, why don't you marry it? Because that's like what kids
Childish.
always say. That's
That's a
what
kid
kids always say.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if you like pizza so much, why don't you marry it?
That's a
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman thing. Yeah.
Well, that's good because maybe it's like there's like jealousy between the couples where the woman's
Yeah.
lusting after the popsicle, and then her spouse is like,
Uh,
"Well, if you like him so much, why don't you
Yeah.
marry
That's so funny.
Well, this is a 2-weeker. So not only is it easy, there's 2 weeks. So, I mean, this is going to get many thousands of entries. This might even break records of how many people are going to enter this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's as you said, it's a fun, easy one. And there's going to be a lot of people going, oh, yeah, I got this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The judges are going to have a hard time with this one. There's just going to be a lot to go through.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk cartoons from the issue?
Yeah.
I liked this issue a lot, actually. I have quite a few that I like. So I don't have to go first, but I can. And in fact, I'd have a time choosing.
Yeah, I have a few.
Yeah.
I can open, although I could have chosen many. I actually like a lot in this issue, which is it's unusual. I like this many. But I will go with the Pia Guerra and the Ian Boothby, a man being interviewed for a job. The door is partially open. You can see smoke coming into the office. And he says, "My greatest weakness, arson."
Yeah.
That is funny.
But I can highlight quite a few more if you guys don't touch on it.
I could go next.
Yeah.
I am going to pick the Drew Dernovich.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta move on.
That was in my
Moving
top
on.
ones too.
Only because I have dishwasher wars in my house all the time.
Yes.
Mhm. You're not doing it right.
All the
You're not-
time. So it's a couple sitting in front of an open, full packed dishwasher with dishes on the sink and the counter and everything, and they look like they're playing chess. And the woman is moving a cup, and the caption is "Small juice glass from side rack to space C7."
Yeah.
Very
That's really smart.
Really
That's
good.
a really funny cartoon.
Yes.
yes.
I love it.
What about Nicole?
Go ahead, Nicole.
Well, there were lots I liked, but I'm going to pick the one that's by Tommy Siegel and Dan Kirkwood. It's a guy sitting on the couch with his dog, and they each have a thought bubble. And the guy is thinking, "My best friend," and the dog's thinking, "The guy who gave me a hot dog once,"
That is
which
funny.
I think is really funny.
And that's how dogs work. It's like
Yeah.
last person that fed them. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love you.
I
I love you.
love
I
you.
love you. I'm going to go with the Victoria Roberts just because I love her drawing on this one.
Yes.
And this is, I'm going to read the caption first. "We admit we have bats. Now what?" And it's her couple. I can't remember their names, but she said their names at one point. We know who this couple is, the Victoria Roberts couple. And the room is just filled with bats, flying around. And they're very cute bats, very fun bats.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Great drawing.
Yes. I'm sure she had fun drawing this.
I'll highlight another two that I liked. I liked the Roland High, which is a bunch of lemmings at a complaint department. And on a cliff. Surrounding the cliff is a fence, blocking off their path to jump off the cliff. Captionless. Captionless is always great, although it's not perfectly captionless because there are words. But true captionless is no words. But it's very good, and it's captionless. There are some words. And the other one I really liked was the Pole North.
Yeah, that was a great
that's
one.
great.
Yeah.
What are those costumes called? Where I don't know what they're called, but the upper half is a horse, and well, I guess it's a horse costume, right? So he's wearing the bottom half of a horse costume, and he says, "I just got out of a pretty serious relationship," and across the room is the upper half of the horse costume, which is great. Which
looking very sad.
Probably tied for my favorite.
Yeah, he's like doing shots in the corner. He's so sad.
Pantomime horse? Was it a pantomime horse? I think it was.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I'll throw in one myself, the Alice Rosen cartoon.
Yeah.
The two rats looking at a coffee cup, and one rat saying, "The city has really changed. When I was a kid, that coffee cup wasn't here." And I think Alice on the last time we had him on said he was changing his style, and this is a very different style from what he
it is.
It is very different.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good observation. This does not look like his normal cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like the style, actually.
Yeah. And I saw that and I looked at the name. It's like, really? Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't recognize, because normally his cartoons are so recognizable.
Yeah.
I had to look at it twice. Go ahead, Nicole. You were going to shout out another one.
I was going to shout out the Michael Maslin, the two knights fighting with giant, like one is a giant sword, the other one has like a giant weapon, but the one knight is leaned back trying to kick the other one. The guy's going, "Hey, no kicking."
Yeah. You can use a sword and a spiked bat, but no kicking.
And
hey, no kicking.
And that's one of the ones where I can see him changing the cartoon and putting "Hey, no kicking" as the caption for a number of different cartoons.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I have another one then. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the
whole issue here.
I like the Dabin Han, who I've never heard of before. And it's God looking at a bunch of crazy aquatic animals laid out on the cloud. And there's an angel looking on, and God says, "Those will look perfect at the bottom of the ocean."
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's
but
good.
it reminds me of the Ed Steed, the platypus cartoon.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say that.
You know, the Ed Steed of God saying,
"Okay,
we'll take one from your pile." Yeah, which is great. But I do like this one, but it reminds me of Ed Steed's.
Yeah.
And of course there is an Ed Steed in this issue.
And nobody picked it.
Which is a miracle.
It's good, but it's not one of my top three. But it's good, as his stuff is always good. It's
yes.
People just entered a room. They're talking about some crazy giant robot monster, and one person says to the other, "I hope I never need to use it, but I feel better knowing it's there," which is good. And he's usually the best in the issue, but this was just an unusually strong issue.
Yeah. And there's a great Liana Fink.
Oh, yes.
In there. A couple's talking, and the wife says to the husband, "They're in the closet, Gary, and this is the last time I'll tell you where we keep the skeletons." Great. That is very funny. And we just signed Liana Fink onto Curated Cartoons, so if anybody wants originals, we're going to be having those soon.
Nice.
I love her stuff.
Yes.
There's also a funny Emily Flake, the two men on the yacht. And of course, my favorite thing to do with the boat is sail out to open water and scream and scream and scream.
Yeah, that's an Emily Flake cartoon. Yes, definitely an Emily Flake cartoon.
Yes.
This issue was great.
It was.
Sorry if I didn't shout your cartoon out. We liked it, I swear.
Yeah, the whole every single cartoon in it this week was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unusually a good issue.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong here? It's good captions on the contest, good cartoons. What's going on with the New Yorker?
Yeah, it was a banner week.
Yeah,
it was.
It was great.
Is this
I bet
bad for the podcast?
Next week. I bet they don't do it next week.
Yeah. Our podcast will die if we're just so happy all the time. No.
Yeah, we're done. We're not doing a podcast next week. No podcast next week. We're good.
What's the entertainment in that?
Funny.
Having said that, this is a double issue, and we do not have a podcast next week.
Right.
Yes.
The New York is off next week. We'll be off next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Larry to discuss Cartoon Stock. So Cartoon Stock's going to they're picking theirs like this Saturday. So we'll be able to mull over those all week, and we'll chat about those in 2 weeks. Hopefully I win that one, because I like what I am. And I want
too. Me too.
I want Cameron Hemp.
I like mine.
I have no hope.
All right, with that, why don't we jump here into our interview with Richards Smit. So, Guy, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, we have a list of cartoonists. We just have to get to them, and you've been on the list, and we got to you. We actually, because you had it, I think, in the last issue, which made us say, "Oh, let's grab him." But we can get to that one. If you don't mind, why don't you just give us a little background of yours, how you got into cartooning, and your early days?
Sure. So I came to cartooning quite late, but it struck me very early as an important art form. My grandparents lived in the city, and they had a very depressing kind of pre-war apartment that wasn't for kids, but I would get left there. It was in Midtown, and all they had was this 1925 to 1950 compendium of New Yorker cartoons, and I would go through it over and over again. And I fell in love with them, and then I was sort of traumatized by this one particular cartoon. And I found out that it's a really important cartoon later, but at the time it was just this very full of very complicated things for an 8-year-old to be looking to. It was I found out also later that it was by Reginald Marsh, who was a fantastic painter, as well as one of the early cartoonists. It was a cartoon. Well, it took up a whole page, and it looks as though the cartoon has been cut off in the middle, because it's this sort of group of people dressed in kind of farm clothes, staring at this light that's coming off it's cropped out of the image. You don't know what they're looking at, but you can see the reflection of the light on their faces. And one woman has a kid on her shoulders who's also staring at this light. And there's a woman holding that kid. So there's the woman holding the kid on her shoulders, and there's a woman behind that woman. And the woman holding the kid is turning to the woman behind her, and she says, the little caption in classic New Yorker font, it simply says, "It's her first lynching." And as an 8-year-old, this was like so beyond what I was able to comprehend. I believe, and I grew up on 120th in a little sort of white enclave of Harlem. So I was pretty sophisticated as to what racial politics were. I think by that point I'd probably seen Roots, so I knew what lynching was. And I was looking at this frankly beautiful drawing that was horrifying, confusing, but also strangely funny in a very mordant way. And I got that. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, this is art. This is like taking a cartoon, this thing that I've been and the early cartoonists are so wonderful. And I'm kind of bouncing through these light jokes, some darker ones, but then this thing. And so after that, I just always had an eye for that kind of humor, but also wanting to deal with weighty subjects on some level, and wanting to feeling that cartooning had this was possible, that so many different things were possible with cartooning. Later on, and so I also just had an affinity for the graphic nature of the black and white and how much you could do with it. So fell in love with Goya and Daumier and then Pogo, and just always had this real love of the energy of them. And so I went to I started going to the Art Students League when I was a little kid, when I was 11, and which is actually where where Peter Arno went, where Reginald Marsh, who I was just talking about, went, and went through this kind of art process, and ended up going to LaGuardia High School and feeling maybe I should be an illustrator for a while, but at the same time really not being able to work within the confines of what is demanded of you in illustration, where you're supposed to come up with a style, and then you're supposed to push that style and do what like a boss will tell you what they want, and you deliver. at the same time, I was very interested in what, so LaGuardia, as you guys probably know, is like the school that Fame was based on. And you were surrounded by all these people doing incredibly, from the outside, very fun stuff. I would hang out with the drama students. I would hang out with the music students. I started a band. I started playing out when I was 15. My first gig at CB's was I was 15. And dance, singing, just all these things became kind of part of what I did. And I always had this kind of bent, I always tacked towards humor. It's an effective, I was reasonably good at it. It made, sometimes made girls like you. And so when I graduated high school, I went to the Parsons for a year, thinking I was going to be an illustrator, and then realizing that that's not what I wanted to be. And I did a couple of years at the Rietveld Academy in Amsterdam, where I really went into painting quite substantially. Later, I went to grad school for art as well, and I fell in love with video. And there was a particular artist named Mike Smith who did these very funny, strange videos that I found was sort of a lesson in direction as to like how I could apply the way my brain worked to this medium. And so I started doing these, I started working in video, and that's actually how I made my name in the art world, where I made these videos and long form things. And for years was really known as a video artist and a performance artist. I tend to work in series. So at one period I was doing these large scale watercolors of imagined New York Times front covers, which also again often had humor in them. And then I went back to my video thing, and I in this period of time I'd gotten to know a gentleman named Joshua White, who had directed a number of Seinfeld episodes, and we had gotten to be friends due to his connection to other people in the art world. And I wanted to make a 5-episode sitcom about this ridiculous character that I performed years before named Jonathan Gross-Mallerman. And he was a aggressively toxic character, but we were going to set it up like a classic sitcom with the couch in his studio and the 3 doors. And we would shoot it in front of a live studio audience. And so we were able to raise the money for that. And that took up a good chunk of my life and ultimately bankrupted me. So when I was finishing that and had very little control over the post-production process, I started a large-scale painting project based on memento moris. So these skulls, but they had these personality traits that went along with how you viewed them. And that eventually became a book. And when the book happened, unfortunately, it was published right at the beginning of the pandemic. And so there was this kind of strange moment. The book being produced sort of made it the end of this particular painting project. And I was really wondering what to do next. And my gallerist in LA, Charlie James, was trying to get me to focus more and not use so many ideas in these New York Times pieces. And he was like, think more like a New Yorker cartoonist, use each one of these as one image. And so I played with that for a little while, and it wasn't really working. And I thought, well, I'd always had this idea that New Yorker cartoons, when they're perfect, and I really believe this, are probably the most effective form of communication that humanity's ever devised. It's the economy is just outrageous that you can get this much information in a little black and white drawing with one line of text. Just blows my mind that there's that famous one that was in this book that I grew up with, where the little girl is saying like, "Oh, I say it's spinach and I say to hell with it." And that was my grandmother explained to me like that was just like a phenomenon when that came out, and that there was a Broadway play that used it as a title. There was it's actually an E.B. White gag, which I hadn't realized until studying it recently. But it's used for there's a famous fashion book that came out at the time that used an allusion to that line. And so the idea that here we've progressed so far where people are doing this AI slop everywhere, and still this little black and white drawing with one line of text can still have this insane, strange impact as a visual relic, not relic, as a visual tool or a vehicle. And I remember thinking like the perfect ones should be on the walls of galleries. And what if I were to make perfect gag cartoons and then make them into large-scale paintings that would be on the walls of museums or a gallery? So I started one, and it was reasonably funny, but that was it. My next one was terrible. And I realized like, this is really hard. I am going to have to stop everything I'm doing. And this is going to have to be my goal. I'm going to have to learn how to be a cartoonist. I can't do all the weird little inside jokes and the things that are funny to me without any kind of, without any kind of care in the world about what other people might think. So I had some connections at the New Yorker, and I thought, well, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start submitting to the New Yorker. And if they decide that I'm good enough to be in the New Yorker, that gives me some sort of carte blanche, some sort of cachet, some sort of right to do this project. And I had a couple of connections to the New Yorker, which helped me not a bit because apparently they don't care. I started submitting, and a couple of weeks after I submitted, like I got a nice note from Emma saying like, this one's really good. It was almost like David really liked it, but it just wasn't quite there yet. And I thought, okay, well, after a couple of weeks, I'm set. This is, it was a year and a half before they bought anything. And it was pretty much a year and a half before I heard from them again. But it became a obsession of just every week I was going to submit 10 cartoons. And if not 10, 8, but hopefully never less than 6. And so that's how this happened. And since it's happened, I think I'll die making them because it's such a satisfying and such an engaging project. And it's taken over my brain.
Your drawing style is reminiscent of like the olden days cartoons. It almost doesn't fit in the modern magazine because it's not just there's so much in it, so much shading, so much detail. It's not just simple line drawings. I assume for you, 10 takes a very long time.
Oh yeah, mine works. I'm able to do that because I have a collector base and I sell the originals. So my cartoons take way too much time. There's no financial right to make them this. If I didn't already have this support system where I can sell the original, and this I argue with cartoonists about this all the time. Is working on iPads, and I know some of you guys are dabbling in that. And for me, it's like, well, where's the original that you can sell? Where is your if I, sometimes I'll send them in a sketch. I try not to send them in sketches because what will probably happen is if they don't go for it, then I toss it. And for me, it's really about this final beautiful thing. I get incredible sensual pleasure out of drawing and out of working on paper with ink, with pencil, with charcoal. And I feel like I don't want to cheat myself of that. So I'd rather take it when the New Yorker doesn't go for it, when it's something that's too, I don't know, esoteric or not. Sometimes I produce a lot of jokes that like sometimes about the art world. And I know that they're not going to be interested, but I know that there are people who will be. And then I finish it and I sell it. While I was submitting to the New Yorker, I approached Hyperallergic, which is an art magazine, an online art magazine, and started doing a weekly cartoon for them about the art world. And then I moved from there to ArtNet and did it for another year, and somehow came up with, once a week with a gag about the art world, which by the end was very difficult to do, at least on a weekly basis. But so for me, they are like little they're basically studies for paintings in my brain, the way my brain views them.
How big are your pieces?
11 by 14 is the
nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever consider submitting covers?
You know what? I have one cover idea. It's all I've been able to come up with, and I haven't drawn it yet because it's going to be a lot of work. But I just actually, it's funny because I was just mulling over that the other day.
This is a sign. This is your sign.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because your art is really, I mean, it's like Vin said, I mean, it's really artistic. It's not like simple line drawings like some cartoonists do. But I mean, I'm fascinated by how many political cartoons you have out there. You know, and they're really good. Like the ice. You know, I saw several different ice cartoons, and you know, are you submitting those for the daily, or what are you doing?
Yes, most of those I made for the daily. I've gotten 2 of those in the daily, and actually 2 of them were the most popular cartoons of 2025, the most shared. Those Reginald Marsh cartoons really had an effect on me. And while I'm not an editorial cartoonist by any stretch, like when I see what Christopher Wyant can do on a daily for the Boston Globe, just comes up with these. I don't know how they do that. The Adder in Canada is amazing, and his drawing is just stunning. But every now and then, you know, something will come to me, and it's, you know, it's funny because I submitted one on Monday that they didn't take, that I thought was so brilliant.
Was it so topical that you can't submit it again, or put it in your batch?
Yeah, no, it was very topical. It was sailors. They're in the mess hall, and one of them is saying, "Are you going to finish that tater tot?" And you know, I posted it and got almost no response, and I realized like, oh, maybe it wasn't as biting and brilliant as I thought. Sometimes maybe they're right not to take my dailies.
Well, I mean, it's true what you said before about the medium of the gag cartoon being like just a way to get such a message across in such a small space. You know, and I mean, you're really nailing it with your political cartoons. I think that I've seen like the one in particular, the ice one of the agent standing around saying, what time does that kid get out of school again? You know, like it really, I mean, it really sends a message that like, you know, a 6-paragraph article couldn't say, you know, but you're getting that point across in, you know, this tiny little gag cartoon. You know, I mean, and it really makes an impact. I mean, it's brilliant, really.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, that one and the Epstein one were really really went everywhere.
Describe the Epstein one, which is where a couple of people are looking at the big ice presence in the neighborhood with all the ICE agents around, and the caption is, "Gosh, whatever's in those Epstein files must be really, really bad." I can just imagine that one must have got a lot of traction.
They got a lot of traction. Like Robert Reich shared it. They did a little. They brought it up on MSNBC at some point, and that's totally thrilling. And with those dailies, you know, as you guys know, you submit them by 9. You find out by 10 whether they want to run them, and then you have a couple of hours to finish them. And so when you do hit, you know, it means that morning, whatever went you didn't know it didn't exist before you did that thing. And that's particularly thrilling to me as an artist who comes out of a contemporary art world where most people couldn't give a crap what you're doing. And your most of the stuff stays in the studio. It never leaves the studio. And so that kind of dichotomy in terms of the way I live is thrilling, frankly.
Well, the New Yorker Daily is kind of an oddity in the cartoon world, but because it is a cartoon that immediately as you think it up, within hours, it's out there populating, just going out. It's must be a different feeling to have done that. Normally, as a New Yorker cartoonist, you send it in. If they take it, you wait months,
years. That
they've been
holding on things for years.
Yeah, the Daily, it's almost instantaneous,
Yes.
And that's got to be, a good feeling to watch your cartoon just go out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking at your Tater Tot cartoon. So that's a beautiful drawing. That had to have taken a long time to send just as a daily. You sent it like that? You don't?
I made it on Sunday. It was, so it took me all of Sunday to make.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for one swing. If they don't take it for that daily, it's kind of move on.
Yeah, exactly.
How long do those take? Is that several hours?
Yeah, something like that. 3 or 4 hours, I would say. I mean, because I'm working on so many, I'm waiting for one to dry a little bit, then I'll go move on to I'm convinced of this. I don't know if this is total magical thinking, but one of the reasons I feel like the two dailies that went viral hit so hard is that they were handmade, and that they're obviously handmade. And I do this thing with just like an inordinate amount of layers of gray wash. It starts very light, and it's a trick that the painters did. And that one of the reasons that when you're walking in a gallery and you see a painting from the 17th century and it holds your gaze longer than something else is because they did something called glazing, which is several thin layers of paint over each other, mixed with Damar varnish. And what happens is by the rules of physics, the light goes through those layers and refracts several times. So you get this maximum amount of light going through colors and coming back at you with more information than you'd get if you were looking at one slab of color. And so one thing I do, and I think it comes through, is that I do just an inordinate amount, often 10, 11, 12 layers of gray that when they're printed have this very rich quality. And I believe in my brain that the human eye reacts differently to it. And that I think that at this moment when we're looking at so much, especially on the internet, or most people look at these cartoons on Instagram, that we're getting very little information, and we're kind of used to just swiping through, and these, because they're handmade and because they, there's goof ups because I'm doing them so fast or faster than I'd want to do them. There's a kind of a human connection, and quite speaking in terms of light refractions, like there's more information going into their eye. And I think that slows down the interaction.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely pays off. Your stuff, there's not many cartoonists doing artwork like you're doing. And I know that it's like, I can definitely tell that I don't always work with the other, I in some sense harken back to another time with New York cartoons, but I still feel that it's nice to have that pop out every now and then. They don't all have to be like that at all. It's better for me if they're not. But but I think it's nice to be going through the pages and suddenly see one of these and just be like, oh, look at that.
Yeah,
you definitely linger on those.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
What was the first one you sold to the New Yorker?
It's funny, and I've heard other cartoonists say this. It was like the one that I did not expect at all. It was one of, when you're putting together your batch, you're always trying to get to that number. And there was one, and it's sometimes it just grabs you because you've got so little time, and and it was this couple. They're showing up they're at a party. They show up at a barbecue, and they're talking to two people at the barbecue, and they said, "We've been fighting all day, but we were hungry, so we came." And it was the kind of thing where we were like, it was funny. We've all been that couple, and we've also been the couple greeting that couple. So it was, it spoke to that. But then interesting, they held on to it. And then I sold them another cartoon that they then ran earlier. In fact, it was a while before they printed that other cartoon. And that one was, so the first one that appeared in the magazine was two men, they're looking at bottles of wine in a wine store. And one says to the other, I'd love to learn more about wine, but I'm barely tolerable as is.
Yeah, that's
a great one.
So that was, and that actually I was working in a wine shop, and because I've always wanted to learn about wine, but unfortunately my brain is, I think, filled up with other information because I could never really learn. And so I'd learn these basic things, and I'd get so proud of myself and so haughty. And I remember someone coming in and asking a really basic question, and it shot through my brain like, what kind of an idiotic question is that? But like before I could even respond, I was like, guy, what are you, a fucking idiot? Like,
yeah,
like, who do you think you are? You don't know anything about this stuff. And literally do you really want to be this intolerant, like this barely tolerable, like you're already know-it-all. Like, do you really want to be this guy? So that's where that came from.
I assume that original sold, right? Because
yes,
wine snobs have a good sense of humor about the fact that they're wine snobs.
Yes, exactly.
It's a beautiful drawing too, with 1 billion bottles of wine.
Yes.
I do think a lot of good humor, though, comes from, and we've heard this from other cartoonists, in some ways making fun of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all of our own failings and anxieties, and
I mean, when things don't come from that place, there's got to be a certain amount of love involved. And even when I've had people go like, were you making fun of me? And I was like, no, I was making fun of me. Otherwise it's just mean, or I have to have a dog in the game, like.
Yes.
You submit anywhere else other than the New Yorker?
I just submitted something to Now Voyager, which is oh my God, Colin, his new magazine that he's working with.
Mm-hmm.
And they took one, and I have some projects. Before I was submitting to, as I said, ArtNet, but now something interesting just came up where I've been spending some time in Las Vegas making cartoons of people playing poker for the World Series of Poker for poker.org. So that's another, but it's a whole other scenario. It's not really gag cartoons, or at least I haven't come up with any gag cartoons out of it yet. Any good ones.
You work in color at all? At least the cartoons you've published in the New Yorker have not had any spots of color.
No, it's funny. I played around with that a little. I'm actually experimenting right now for another project on working on paper in color. For this, I've certainly worked in color in paintings and things like that, but for some reason my brain is very conservatively fixed on this idea of the classic black and white cartoon. Those wonderful, I've become quite obsessed, or I was always obsessed with it, but those amazing Playboy cartoons that were full pages and in full color, where of course they had a month to work on it at the very least. But they're just so gorgeous to look at. And I'd love to get that kind of facility, but I haven't really figured out the techniques they used. Are they, and I'm sure they were all using their own techniques. And I know a number of them were working in ink, but I haven't managed to master that. Everything I've done is looking kind of a mess.
You would need color. Well, maybe not necessarily, but you'd likely need color if you wanted to enter the cover world. The majority of their covers, the far majority covers have color.
Yes, absolutely.
I notice you tend to do a lot of very long captions.
Yes, I've been working on that.
No, they're good. They're good. But I mean, that's hard to pull off a long caption that's really good.
Yeah.
So, do you have a writing background?
Well, I do in terms of song lyrics, and one thing I think that has actually sort of helped me in this is that I do have an innate understanding of rhythm and punctuation that helps with this kind of a thing, like how to mess with words until the rhythm is right. I do sometimes trip myself up and get too involved in long captions. And it's funny, actually, my recent captions have been quite short, but I've done things in the past, and I'm proud of them for the most part, but where I have a very complicated thing I'm trying to get across. And I'm like, how am I going to do that and make it worth reading, or make it, or give it more punch, have it be stronger than if it was shorter.
Well, your humor comes in your captions because your scenes are often mundane scenes,
right?
Gatherings of people, two people talking. So the humor it has to be in your caption then, because you've got to add something to this scene to make it funny. So I can understand why sometimes you need a little bit more explanation as to what's going on there.
Yes.
So as I was going through here, I was trying, because when I look at cartoons, it's usually some incongruency going on there. There's something funny happening in the image itself. And I was trying to find one that you may have done. The closest I can come to is a couple of owls. I feel when I found that didn't have humans in it.
Right. Yeah. That was my experiment to not use humans. I'm not that guy who I'm not great for the caption contest, although they have used one of my things, because it's not, there should be something that incredibly incongruous involved or something absurd visually. Whereas I'm generally, one thing I grew up, I'm half Dutch, and I grew up partly there. And there was a Dutch cartoonist named Peter van Straten, who was his drawings are stunning, but it was always these little mundanities of life, everything, and they were so depressing. So wonderfully, gloriously depressing. And I fell in love with what you could do with, like, someone reading the paper and someone making a sandwich. And I think I'm fascinated, frankly, by people and how we relate to one another, and how we protect ourselves from each other, and how we don't, and how we choose not to, and how we try to get over on one another. And so there's so much for me in those simple kind of interactions that's strange enough that it doesn't often occur to me to add a duck. Although a duck could, lighten the situation up a little bit.
Got a problem cartoon? Add a duck. There you go.
Exactly.
You mentioned you had a cartoon in the caption contest, but I don't remember it. Did it run yet?
Yes, it did. Last year, it was a death surprise, freaking out a jester.
Yep. Oh yes.
I remember it. Of course. Yeah. Yes.
And in my mind, I think my caption was, "Don't worry, I just thought we could do a collab," or something like that. And they didn't go for that, but they did at least, I got paid the full amount.
Yeah.
Try to find the cartoon because I don't remember. Oh, I got it. Yes.
Great drawing. I remember
Yeah, it
very
was
well.
great. I remember it.
Oh, thank you.
I do not remember my caption for that one.
I don't
Wasn't
remember
good.
my caption
Oh.
for it, but I remember the cartoon.
Yes.
I'm so intrigued by the fact that you played at CBGB when you were 14 years old.
Yeah.
How on earth did that happen?
It's so funny because it's the things you do when you're a kid and you're just like, oh, I'll just call up Hilly from CB's and get us a Sunday matinee. Sure. Hey
Wow.
guys, we gotta show up. We gotta go. My parents are coming. It's one of the great things about growing up in New York. But it was a time, it was a great time to be a kid in New York because you could do things like that. And Hilly didn't say like, wait a second, you're 15. You can't even come in here. What are you doing?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how on earth?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's wild. But
not many people can say that. That is like so cool.
I was running a political organization at LaGuardia when I was 16 called SOS Racism. And if you guys remember, there was the 1986 anti-apartheid rally. It was a big deal. And I had this idea that I'd call up Keith Haring and Keith Haring would make banners with us.
Who calls up Keith Haring? Like, how did you do that? How did you do that? Oh, I'll just call Keith Haring. Like,
it was such a simple world back then. I remember it was because I had worked with something called City Kids. And he'd done this big City Kids Speak on Liberty thing. And the woman who ran that had been, I charmed her or something, or she thought I was interesting. And she gave me his number. And, he liked younger boys. So it was nothing happened, but like, I think he was just more likely to, but I also think like at the time, I remember his studio was no big, it was big, but it wasn't like what you see now when you walk into people's studios.
Right. Wow.
And we spent the day with him making banners. And he told me something. Well, he told everybody this, and I've heard that since it was actually a big slogan of his, but that he simply said art is for everyone. And he really lived that way, that art was for everyone. But it always kind of stuck with me because he repeated it several times that day. And I think for me, it is for everyone. And that's also why I'm so fascinated by cartoons and their public effect, and that you are making something for everybody. And even if it's not, for everybody, it's well beyond a gallery's walls.
And you teach on the subject now, right? At the Art Students
League. Yeah. I'm doing a workshop this October on how to draw cartoons. I've done it a few times. I do it like once a season, and that's super fun. And it's great for me because I get to go back to where I first learned how to draw the human figure. And if you guys don't know it, it's a beautiful Beaux-Arts building on 57th Street. And they offer classes, cheap classes, sometimes even free. And it's the oldest art school in the city. And it's a really fantastic, beautiful place. And pretty much every artist, Jackson Pollock, back to the 19th century, came through this school.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure you're probably a terrific teacher of drawing, so I'm sure they get a lot of value out of that.
It's definitely fun.
You should go, Ben. You should go.
I can't thought, but if I thought I could, I would. So, like I said, we have a list of cartoons we mean to have on, and your name jumped to the top of the list because of a cartoon you had, I think, last week that we all loved. So we said, now's the time.
Oh, the university
the school
one,
board. Yeah. It was the list. This is not only are we denying your tenure, we're closing your department and setting the entire university on fire just to be safe.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, both my parents were professors. My mother was at Rutgers and my dad was at Columbia. And so what's been happening has been very sort of difficult for me to watch.
Well, it generated a terrific.
Thank you. Yeah. I got to send it to all my parents' old colleagues, the ones that are still alive. I was like, I made this for you.
I'm sure that's another cartoon, though, that would sell really well. Like there's going to be so many university assistant professors buying that cartoon.
Right. Well, it's so funny because, one thing growing up in Morningside Heights, if you'd go into anyone's kitchen, they always had a couple of cartoons, cut out and taped or magneted to the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved how individual they were, how if you went into like a science, someone who worked in the sciences, there'd be something about physics or whatever, that somehow managed to get their entire profession in one little image. And I think about that a lot. I spent a certain amount of time as an art handler up until quite recently. And so I made a number, when I was doing the cartoons for ArtNet, I made a number that dealt with being an art handler and how strange it is.
My son is an art handler.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Which company is he with?
Oh God, now I'm drawing a blank. It's out of Philadelphia and Wilmington, Delaware. Oh God, I'll think of it. I'll think of the name. Hold on. It's Atelier.
Oh, Atelier 4?
Yeah, I think so.
That was the company I worked for.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's funny. Atelier 4, because they're based in
Wilmington and Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, where he works.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But in any case,
go ahead. Go on with your story. That's fun.
I got a friend of mine who was still who had just gotten an art handling gig, had come across one of my cartoons that had been reprinted and stuck in the restroom, like on the wall, and it made me so happy, just knowing that here were some art handlers, sitting down for a moment, and they would get a chuckle out of this cartoon about what was it? It's two guys. They're trying to hang a painting, and one says to the other, they talk big about subverting the paradigm, but God help you if you hang it uneven. Something like that.
Yeah.
You have a lot more in the bank with the New York.
Yeah, there are a number that they've got. Hopefully, one that I just feel like they should use soon, just because it feels right to use it soon. Mine are kind of particular, so I don't think I have the hit rate that a number of other cartoonists have, but it kind of doesn't bother me.
Let me jump back here a little bit, because I read your Wikipedia page and an article that was in, what was it, The Creative Independent?
Oh yeah,
and it kind of,
they have the picture of me and
in your band
in there.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I don't know if it was implied or if they right out and said it. It's like you take on personas as you went through your life. There's been I think currently you even said it's like you're doing your gag cartoonist persona.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me a bit of Andy Kaufman. I think that was mentioned at some point somewhere, but that intrigues me, as because I think that you mentioned that. What was his name? Wasser, yes.
Oh, and Gross Mallerman.
Yeah. Gross Mallerman. So, do you actually take on this persona, or is it just, how does that work?
It's really just for the art.
Okay.
And people would often, so the way Gross Mallerman would speak, he had a very particular way of speaking, and people would often be surprised when they'd meet me and that I didn't speak that way.
Okay.
Performing as myself is very difficult. So it was always kind of important to take on a different character. It kept me sane, because especially being in a band, especially being in a band in your 20s, it can drive you pretty crazy. I mean, in a good way, like you get to do all these insane things, but it's not a very healthy way to live or to relate to other people. It's I've always been a front man, and it's a lot of fun when you're on stage, but it's a lot of work when you're not on stage. Yeah. But yes, but I definitely feel right now, and I don't want to sound glib about cartooning, because it's really, I don't think I've ever really connected with something so fully as this. And I also love that it's all within my own command. When you're with a band, you're scheduling rehearsals, you're dealing with a drummer who hates you secretly, you're dealing with a record company, you're dealing with trying to set up a tour, trying to make sure everyone has their passport. You know, when I did the sitcom, again, it was the same thing, dealing with actors. And now all I just need to go to my studio, and I do half an hour of automatic writing in the morning to try to kind of jar some ideas out of my brain. And
talk about that for a bit, the automatic writing, because I read that and it's kind of like, well, that's interesting. That sounds like something I might want to try. So what is that?
I would suggest to everybody to do it. It sort of limbers up your brain. It makes you realize that, well, first of all, and again, I'm a very analog person, and sorry, my cat is Silly wants attention and has sharp nails. I'm a very analog person, and I feel that the speed with which I write helps me, connects your ideas to your hand, and in a particular way. And I've read some stuff. I'm not sure if any of it's real, but I do find that when I'm writing, and I do about half an hour, as I said, and the pages are utterly gibberish. I mean, they're words, but hopefully what will happen is at a certain point, my brain will turn off a little bit, and a scenario, or really sometimes just a grouping of words that shouldn't be together, is interesting, or absurd, or has the spark of something in it that I can run with. But when I'm done with the book, I throw it out, because there's nothing in there that I haven't already mined that's worth saving.
Have you ever heard of a book called The Artist's Way?
You know what? Someone tried to get me to read that, and I didn't. But she's really into the whole automatic, or the morning pages, right?
It's by a woman called Julia Cameron. It's like it's decades old now, this book. But and even in interviewing cartoonists, I feel like I've read a lot of artists have tapped into this. It's kind of a creativity course almost. And one of her biggest things is every day you start by writing what she calls morning pages.
Yeah.
So every morning, and that's the idea. You clear the clutter from your mind, like your to-do list and maybe your fears about what's blocking you. And once you put that on the page, it frees you up actually to then have creative ideas and creative energy, and to tap into other things. So as you were talking, I'm like, oh, that sounds exactly like morning pages.
Yeah. And I call them morning pages sometimes, just because people know that term.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible, it's just a way of sitting down, and I've been married for 24 years almost. I have 2 kids, one's in college, and there's a lot of it's very easy to get trapped in doing all the little things you're supposed to do. Yeah. And it's a moment where you can just sit down and be in this weird little place, and it's a fixed period of time, and there's no end result that's necessary. It's just an exercise. And sometimes I'll get let's see this. So what I do is, like, I'll circle things that are decent, or like, oh, that's something I can get. So today I wrote a nepotism in the wild. I don't know what that is, but that was like, that's one of the things that came out of this, and I wrote it down. I'm like, okay, what would that are people in the on the savannah watching like a giraffe introduce their kid giraffe to another? I don't know. Are
you doodling or at all, or just writing?
Just writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I've done that before too, the morning pages, and I think it's so useful. It's almost like when I did it about a year ago, I started doing it, and I found out first the hardest thing was to write by hand for a number of pages in a row without my hand getting tired. I'm just not used to it.
Yeah.
But then you kind of over time becomes kind of second nature and super valuable, I think.
And it's wonderful because there's, again, like at first you write that line, you're like, oh God, what's my second line going to be? And then when you just kind of let go of what it should be,
it can be just, what's my second line going to be?
Exactly.
That's literally could be your second line. Yeah. No, it's really freeing. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's been great for me.
Oh, well, this has been great for us. We're over an hour now. I know you have a cat some attention. But this was terrific. We were excited to have you, and this was...
Well, thanks so much again for asking me. This was really fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I've really been enjoying listening to you guys. I love the idea that, again, because of my admiration for the form. When I hear you guys talk about, what captions work, what don't work. And I love how honest you guys are about, like, when you're like, that's not a good one. That's not like, that's an okay one. Like, it doesn't break any new ground, but I really appreciate hearing people talk about it so seriously and with such also obvious admiration, but it's my world, and getting to hear it spoken about with such kind of seriousness is really wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have fun doing it. So yeah.
Yes. So we'll be watching for more from you for
Absolutely.
sure.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to plug. I have if you have any listeners in LA, I have an exhibition November 20th at Charlie James Gallery in LA. So
very nice.
And I will find links to everything you mentioned here, the poker illustrations and whatnot, and put them up in the show notes.
Awesome.
So
great. Cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your time in the Catskills.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Guy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.